MMA Fighting presents Timeline, Woodley vs. Thompson. February 4th, 2012, UFC 143, Diaz vs. Condit in Las Vegas. 5-0 Stephen Thompson enters the UFC cage for the first time against Daniel the Anvil Stitche. In the curtain jerker, Thompson delivers a highlight reel head kick KO, winning knockout of the night to earn a $65,000 bonus on top of the $12,000 he earned as a fight purse.
So for the record, you have now won 63 straight fights. That includes amateur, MMA, and kickboxing, right?
Yes, 63. I've been in the fight game or in the martial arts since I was 3 years old, so for a while now.
Were you looking for the head kick KO?
You know what? When I fight guys, I actually the kick that I do is a lead leg round kick, and not a whole lot of people see it coming. And I like to throw it after they throw a technique. That way it comes over the shoulder and they don't see it. So I was looking for it, but if it didn't work, I had something else up my sleeve. So.
April 21st, 2012, UFC 145, Jones vs. Evans in Atlanta, Georgia. Following his thrilling UFC debut, Thompson is fast-tracked and set to face Matt Brown.
You seem to have so far gotten the loudest pop from the fans. My hunch, you tell me if I'm wrong, my hunch is that your unique style, that karate approach, really is kind of engaging to them. Am I reading into it too much or what?
No, it's something you don't see too often in the MMA world. The movement and the hands being down and just kind of you do see flashy kicks and stuff like that, but with my style, you see a lot of that, and it's kind of awkward and kind of different because I switch sides. It's just a very exciting style. It's just something you don't see in the MMA world too often. So.
But why do you think people are dismissive of karate, or maybe in some ways your World Combat League experience, right? Why is the MMA world still dubious of karate accomplishment?
Well, traditional karate, there's a lot of schools out there who kind of made us look bad. Just, saying they're this and they're that, and really they're like a blue belt, you know what I mean? Back in the 70s and 80s, you saw a lot of that. But, karate's coming back. We're evolving. And the first UFCs, that's who you saw. You saw traditional karate guys, and they were doing well. But then Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and these other arts were coming on, and they were beating the crap out of us. But guess what? Now we've learned to do those things as well. So now karate is coming back, traditional karate. You have to adapt to it, and you got to step out there and diverse yourself in other arts. But karate will always be my number one art and my background and who I am.
Brown wins by unanimous decision. This would be Thompson's only loss in MMA. February 2nd, 2013, UFC 156, Aldo vs. Edgar in Las Vegas. After a very impressive run in Strikeforce with 8 wins and 1 loss, including wins over Tarek Safady, Jordan Meehan, and Paul Daly, Tyron Woodley's first opponent in the UFC cage is Jay Heron. Woodley wins by KO at just 36 seconds into the first round.
Strikeforce guys coming into the UFC. Right now you're 3-0 on this card. Do you come in with a little bit of I need to prove something here? We're not the minor league, sort of like the WEC guys a couple of years ago.
You have to. It's for several different reasons. Like I said before, I got to prove it for myself. You coming over to the top of the top. You can't come over here with lackluster performances because guys going to be like, see, this is not Strikeforce, this is a UFC. So, I came in and did what I had to do. I'm blessed that it came out that way. And I'm going to just get back in the gym and train, man. It was a 30-40 second fight. March 16th, there's a lot of welterweights on that card. My passport is current. If somebody slip on a banana peel, God forbid, I want to in.
You say you want a top 5 guy. You're ready for the upper echelon.
No, I don't want to do the pity patter. If I'm gonna put it all on the line, everybody in this division is tough. If I'm gonna risk it, I want to be a top guy. I don't want to get closer to George St. Pierre.
May 25th, 2013, UFC 160, Velasquez vs. Silva 2. Wonderboy faces LaShawn Burrell on late notice. Thompson wins by unanimous decision.
Back on the winning track. I'm guessing you're going to win your next 62 fights in a row now.
Booyah, you know it, man.
You mentioned on Monday when you were on my show that you didn't have to deal with the pressure of that winning streak. Did you feel that in the days leading up to the fight here?
As I got closer to fight time, after that last loss and knowing that UFC is, doing some cuts, I was a little nervous, but I just went out there and just did my thing, I trained for it. I know what's going to happen, so I just got to go out there and stay positive and do my best.
June 15th, 2013, UFC 161, Evans vs. Henderson. Woodley's next fight takes him to Winnipeg, where he would face fellow Strikeforce alumni and top 5 ranked Jake Shields. Despite winning 30-27 on one judge's scorecard, Woodley is on the losing end of a split decision. September 21st, 2013, UFC 165, Jones vs. Gustafsson. Thompson faces Chris Clements in Toronto. Wonderboy wins by second round KO.
Do you feel like when people, anytime someone talks about a Wonderboy Thompson fight, they want to see something spectacular because of the way you debuted and if people know your history? Do you feel the pressure to always kind of, give the people what they want, the flashy knockout?
Well, yeah, I'm always feeling that. Everyone after the first round, people want to say, "Hey, man, I want to see another KO," or do a spin kick this time. But I go out there and try and do what I do, and that's win. If I get a knockout, so be it. If I don't, well, I'm in shape to go all 3 rounds.
November 13th, 2013, UFC 167. St. Pierre vs. Hendricks. Woodley is matched up against longtime UFC welterweight Josh Koscheck. Woodley wins by brutal knockout in the first round. The victory would also earn Woodley his first knockout of the night bonus.
What's funny is I visualize that. I visualize me dropping him, hitting him, and standing up with my hands up. Literally, no exaggeration. I visualize that because, to be honest, if you hit him again, he might wake up and get right back to scrambling. So I visualize me cracking him, him hitting the ground, and when it happened, I knew I didn't have to hit him again.
Do you feel like you're going to get a top guy now after a win like this?
Who knows? I can make my claim that I should be fighting for the title next. Who knows? These guys can lose. Everybody can shuffle this deck up, and I'm the guy off with a good knockout. So I want to fight for the title, man. In 6 months, I want to be in the cage against whoever it is, if it's Johnny, if it's freaking GSP. But I feel like, you're meant to be the best. You're meant to train to be at the top of the top, and I think that's what I'm doing right now.
February 22nd, 2014, UFC 170, Rousey vs. McMahon. Thompson is set to face Australian striker Robert Whittaker. Thompson wins by first round TKO. The win also earns him a Performance of the Night check.
I felt really comfortable out there, from my last fight when I fought Chris Clements. But, I felt everything felt really clear. I felt calm. He did hit me with a few times with that jab. I don't know why I took those to the face. And I was like, you know what, get your hands up and block this jab. And, once I did that, I was able to put my combinations together and ended up hitting him with that big right hand. So, felt really good out there tonight.
March 15th, 2014, UFC 171, Hendricks vs. Lawler in Dallas, Texas. For the first time in the UFC, Woodley is featured as the co-main event for a major pay-per-view. He is fighting Carlos, the natural-born killer Condit. In the first round, Woodley drops Condit. In the second round, Woodley wins the bout after Condit snaps his ACL, defending a takedown.
I think if you break somebody's arm in the armbar, if you choke them out, they don't tap. It wasn't like, he came in with a pre-existing injury. It came from a double leg takedown. I saw that he was hurt, and I went for the finish. I think I was dominating the fight, and, that's a tough guy to dominate in general. So I went out there. I asked for this fight, because I didn't think I was going to lose it. You guys fail to realize that I'm in this to be a world champion. And I went out to the top guy when everybody was so quiet, and I blew this man's phone up until he probably couldn't take it anymore because I want to be the world champion. I think that alone, that persistence, warrants me a world title shot.
June 14th, 2014, UFC 174, Johnson vs. Bogatinov. Booked in his second consecutive co-main event, Woodley will face Roy McDonald in what many believe to be a fight for the number 1 contender spot.
We're here on enemy territory, Roy McDonald, things like that. How are we gonna finish this guy? How's it gonna happen?
Why y'all want to make it enemy and me?
What is enemy? You are the bad guy here.
Everybody's an enemy when you fight.
Yeah, but he's the guy.
To who?
He's the hometown guy.
I don't think so.
All right. So do you think they like?
I think a lot of the fans want to see me win.
Fair enough.
I think it's gonna be a split crowd, and I really, truly, honestly believe that. I think he's a good fighter, but I think I'm not gonna get booed like everybody thinks.
McDonald wins the exhaustive match. The loss would be a significant setback for Woodley's title run. August 23rd, UFC Fight Night 48, Bisping vs. Lee. Woodley makes a quick return to the cage. He faces top 10 welterweight Dong Hyun Kim on short notice across the Pacific in Macau. Woodley returns to his winning ways with the Performance of the Night KO of Kim in only 61 seconds. September 27th, 2014. UFC 178, Johnson vs. Carriazo. Thompson faces veteran Patrick Cote. Stephen Thompson wins by unanimous decision.
I felt great. I wanted to go out there because everybody wants to see a great knockout, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. Went out there, just felt like, first round, feeling them out. I knew who was going to go for the takedown. So I try to keep it standing, so just try to pick them apart.
January 31st, 2015, UFC 183 Silva versus Diaz. Woodley is matched up against top 10 ranked Kelvin Gastelum.
I said it before, you can delay, but you can't deny. I don't want the title shot. That's a soundbite. That's somebody that heard 50,000 other fighters say that, I want the next title shot. That means you want a chance to fight in the world title fight. They didn't say you want to win. They didn't say you want to be the best. I will consistently be top 10 welterweights, and I will be the best fighter in the world at 170, and I feel like that's how you become that. You don't ask for title shots. You don't say, hey, I want the title shot. I'm going to be the world champion, and then it's just a matter of time.
Despite Gastelum weighing in at 180 pounds, Woodley still accepts the fight. Woodley wins the fight by split decision.
You know, the kid lost, had his first loss. He's not going to get his win bonus. Dana White's probably yelled at him. His coaches probably yelled at him. He's probably pissed off by himself. So I just can't find it in my heart to do that right now. But I got the win. I had a good performance, and I feel good about it. But when you are a professional in a professional sport, you have to do professional things. And I was just frustrated at the situation because for me, I had, put everything differently in this camp. And, I felt like, I put some good things together. And weight cut my last 3 weight cuts has been tough. I was like, damn, man, the last 3 pounds looked like they didn't want to come off, but I always get them off no matter what.
And one of the big things I think that he meant that he's not saying is yesterday when he and I were talking, I got to know if there's a fight. Are you accepting him with the 10-pound difference? And he's saying, I feel like this thing's coming down on me now. I'm in trouble, or you're acting like I did something wrong. Which I wasn't. I'm asking him if he wants to fight or not, but he's right. He's right in that, now he has to make a decision whether he wants to fight a kid that weighs 10 pounds more than him the day of the weigh-in. And then he's got to make the decision like that yesterday. It's a tough decision to make. I understand the position he was in, and I respect him for taking the fight.
July 12th, 2015. The Ultimate Fighter Finale 21. Thompson versus Ellenberger. For the first time in his UFC career, Thompson is booked as the main event across the juggernaut, Jake Ellenberger.
I was supposed to be main event on Valentine's Day in February in Denver, fighting Brandon Thatch. I ended up tearing the cartilage in my ribs, and so I was out for that fight. But to get another main event shot is awesome. I mean, UFC's they're finally seeing and recognizing me, and know what I can do. I love, I'm a fighter. I like to go out there and put on a show, and hopefully I can do that for you guys. July 12th.
Wonderboy wins by spectacular head kick KO that also earns him an extra $50,000 for performance of the night.
Do you feel like you are a top 10 fighter now?
Yes, I do.
You have arrived, right?
I have, and that's just a fighter. I think that's how we all feel, is that we should, strive and achieve and try and go for the title, and that we are the best. And I feel that I am.
October 3rd, 2015, UFC 192, Cormier versus Gustafsson. Tyron Woodley is set to face number 2 ranked Johnny Hendricks as the co-main event.
48 hours away, what's going through your mind?
Just seize the moment. I've been in this position before. I'm like the magical guy with the fights. That you're not getting this fight, you're not ranked, you're not this, you're not that, and I get it. Last time I was blessed to get the fight against Carlos Condit. I seized the moment. I went out there and I executed. Nothing changed on Saturday night.
But only hours before weigh-ins, the UFC announces that Hendricks has been forced to withdraw from the bout due to complications with his weight cut. Woodley chooses to continue cutting and weighs in.
I was a professional. This ain't the first time this happened to me. It's actually the second back-to-back time. I came to fight. I trained my butt off. There's a lot of expenses and costs that goes into training camp, time away from my family. I spend $30 to $40, maybe sometimes $50,000 for a training camp. So when you think about, a show money, they don't cut it. So hopefully, Dana says he's gonna take care of it. He's gonna talk to me tonight. Hopefully they have some good news for me when I get downstairs.
February 6, 2016, UFC Fight Night 82, Hendricks versus Thompson. Thompson returns for his second consecutive main event, this time against former champion Johnny Hendricks.
There's a bit of a logjam at the top of the welterweight division. Do you think a win over a former champion like Hendricks gets you that title shot?
Oh, definitely. I'm looking for that title shot after this fight with Johnny Hendricks.
Have you been told that by the UFC, if you win, you get that shot?
I haven't been told that. That's just something I want, I think going out there, putting on a good show and finishing Johnny Hendricks will definitely put me in that position.
Wonderboy lives up to his nickname and does what no other fighter has ever done. He not only finishes Hendricks, but he does so flawlessly, finishing the fight with strikes in the first round. This would be the breakout performance Thompson needed to be in the title contender discussion. Wonderboy was also awarded with his 4th UFC performance bonus.
I know what I'm capable of, and just the confidence coming in from my camp. I had all the confidence in the world, so I knew I could put him away. I just had to find the way to do it. Keep him at the end of hands and my feet. I knew who was going to look for the takedown, and just keep the fight standing up. And I knew it was going to happen. Defeating Johnny Hendricks is a tough guy, number 2 ranked guy, former welterweight champion. I'm asking for the title, man. I know there's a lot of guys in line, but I think after that performance, I deserve it.
March 5th, 2016, UFC 196, McGregor vs. Diaz. Nate Diaz defeats Conor McGregor at 170 pounds, thus eliminating McGregor a potential title shot against champion Robbie Lawler.
I said it a second ago, nobody deserves anymore because there's no measuring stick. There's, semifinals, if you win that, you go to the finals. There's no clear-cut criteria on what it takes to get a world title. So I feel like I should be considered the top option, but I'm not going to say I deserve the title. I feel like after tonight, we should be hearing some news soon about UFC 200, me versus Robbie Lawler. After Nate Diaz beat Conor McGregor, which we all know there's no secret why he was fighting at 170. There's no secret why he was hinting around that, hey, maybe he can go up to 170. Now with that victory, and now with some of that miscommunication cleared up, I think I'm the strongest candidate for the world title right now.
June 18th, 2016, UFC Fight Night 89, McDonald vs. Thompson. Stephen Thompson returns to the cage in Ottawa, and as the main event against Canadian Roy McDonald. Thompson goes on to win, putting together a tactical, complete performance to beat the perennial top welterweight. This win would be Thompson's 7th consecutive victory, 4 of those being finishes, and 2 victories over top 5 competition. July 30th, 2016, UFC 201, Lawler vs. Woodley. Tyron Woodley finally receives his title shot in Atlanta, Georgia.
And what I believe is that everybody who has counted me out in this fight, you got Wonder Woman already talking about he think a matchup with him and Robbie is great. What's going to happen is I'm going to win this fight. Wonder Boy get an opportunity to fight Robbie, as he wanted, right? That was the matchup everybody want to see. He'll get that in a non-title fight. And I'll be looking to fight George St. Pierre. I'll be looking to fight Nate Diaz, Nick Diaz, Bisping, anybody who's going to reel in the big dough. It's time for the chosen one to get paid. I am the person that you don't have to work. You can give me a 16th of the boost you give a Conor or Ronda. I do it by myself, you know what I mean? I was on the set of Fast and the Furious, so UFC didn't set that up. Yeah. So it's time for people to start realizing what I bring to the table, how good I am for the organization, how good I am for the young teen African-American kid that's struggling, that found a way out, how good I am for the entertainment aspect, the analyst aspect. Every aspect you think of, family, childhood, I grew up in Ferguson. Why do I have to work so hard to get these things out?
Finally, and what a story that is. Have you envisioned what it will feel like when Dana White puts that belt around your waist? Like, do you feel it? Do you dream about that moment? What do you think it's going to be like?
That's why I like you. I asked Anthony Pettis this. We were training, sparring with my man Biggie and Gerald, and I stopped and I looked at Anthony and I said, what did it feel like when Dana White came behind you and he put that belt around your waist? He said, man, I felt like I was a man. At that moment, you know it's worth all the sacrifice, you know it's worth everything, and you are the best welterweight in the world.
Woodley wins by first round KO.
Being a champion is the first step, and I'm at that point. Now I want to reign over the division, and I want to go out there. It's money in the sport now. It's a lot of eyeballs on the sport. We didn't sell for $4 billion for nothing. People see something in it. So I want to go out there, and I want to start providing for my family and leaving a legacy behind. So I think guys like Nick Diaz, I would love to get an opportunity to make that money. And also, George St. Pierre is the #1 welterweight of all times. You can't say you're the best in the world and you've never fought him before. So if that happened, that would be a huge honor. It's no disrespect to these guys. They both know I respect them. I talked to George a couple days ago, and he told me, believe in yourself, you can do it. When I got into this sport, it was too hard of a sport not to be chasing for gold. So I always felt in my mind that I would be the champion. It was sometimes throughout my career where I was like, man, I know I got the tools. Why wouldn't I let go? I talked to Pat Miletich. She said, just let the chains go. You're the best athlete in the sport. And it takes guys telling you that, training. And one day it just clicked, and I said, you know what? I'm the best welterweight in the world. And that's why my whole presser was that one line, I'm the best welterweight in the world, because at that moment it really sunk in that I possess the best tools, I'm the fastest, I have the power, I have the aggression, I got the mindset, I can play the chess game well. So when that clicked in, I just really felt confident that I was going to win this fight.
On November 12, 2016, the champ, Tyron Woodley, will defend his belt for the first time as the co-main event for UFC 205 against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in New York City.
You can boo if you want, but it's one thing you have to call me. You have to call me the welterweight champion of the world. And I knocked out the most vicious welterweight, the fighter of the year with fights of the year in record-breaking time. So you have to respect me no matter what. And I gave you a chance to boo. Let me finish my statement. And my legacy, number one, does not depend on what an individual thinks of me. I'm a high-level athlete. My resume speaks for itself. And I will fight Wonderboy November 12th, and everybody will see why I'm the best welterweight in the world.